So, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for coming live on the call. You all will be getting a gift at the end of the call. I will be emailing it to you. So, thank you so much for coming again. Now, I want to start with talking about R2U, which is return to your real self, right? So, I don't know if you've read anything about it or if you know anything about, what the program is, but let me just give you a little gist. So this program is something, this is a pilot batch, and this is a program that I will be doing a session every month. For now it's a month, maybe it will become twice a month as well, based on the content that I'm developing. And this will go on till November or December, I feel. Again, I'm not sure how long I want to keep it, but I just want to keep giving you all value and tell you everything that I've learned over the last 11 years. Now, over the last 11 years, I've worked so much on various aspects around healing, right? And manifestation being one of the major, topics that really attract me, and I guess attract a lot of you as well, right? But what I've realized is that everything that we've been looking for on the outside is somehow always it takes a u-turn and comes within us. So everything that's on the outside is a reflection of inside, right? And we've been hearing that, we've been reading that in religious scripts, this, that, everywhere, right? But how do we crack the code of actually um knowing ourselves and awakening that thing within us so that we can actually see whatever we want on the outside? Okay, so it could be material things, it could be relationships, love, anything. Okay, so this program is actually an attempt at doing that, at trying to understand our true potential and actually be able to awaken that energy within us so that we are actually able to do what we want, what we desire. We can actually work on that. So that's what return to the real self is. Most of us don't know our powers. We feel worthless, we feel helpless, we feel so many emotions, right? The bad emotions, the sad emotion that we don't want to feel. But this is the place where I actually want to talk about your true powers, the ones that we actually came with. We came as a whole being, right? But now we feel fragmented, we feel broken, we feel like some parts are missing, we feel like we need other people to help us get where we are and feel empowered, right? But this is an attempt for you to actually be your own helper, be your own savior, and then actually feel that power so that you can not just empower yourself but also others. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about R2U, and then we'll dive into today's topic. You can put it in the chat, or actually you can unmute yourself, you can raise your hand. No one? Okay, cool. Perfect. So let's start. Today I want to talk about two things: needs and wants. Okay, what is a need and what is a want? So if you could type what you think is a need and what you think is a want, that would be great. So we all have needs and we all have wants, right? But what do you think is the definition? Do you think it's different? Do you think it's the same? What is it?
Anisha, I think you disabled the chat.
Oh, did I? Okay, I have no clue how to. Hmm. That's fine. How about you? We just you just unmute yourselves and tell me. So yes, what do you think is a need and what do you think is a want?
I think sleep is a need, sound sleep, peaceful sleep is a want.
Okay, interesting. Um, so what does that make a need then, if sleep is a need?
What is it?
Like
Basic.
So the basic requirements you feel are the needs, and then anything to make it better. Is that what it is? That's a want?
Yeah, yeah, something more than what is bare minimum
Okay, good.
for survival. I mean, of course, there could be different definitions of it, but uh, like maybe a house to sleep, or I mean, for shelter. Shelter is a need, but having a I mean, like a condominium or a big lavish bungalow, that's a want.
Okay. So the bare minimum you according to you is the need, and then anything more than that are wants, right? Okay,
Mm.
great. Perfect. Anyone else? Miss Sara, Shika? Anything?
Yeah, one is this, and another way of seeing it is what all dreams the universe want to put in our head. Maybe the soul is carrying from some birth. Even
Yeah.
that comes in the form of a want. No matter where I stay now, but I want something big. So that way, maybe the dreams are also another way of looking at it.
Okay, perfect. So that's also a want you're saying. Okay, great. So, Nisara, do you have anything?
Pretty much similar to what they've just said. Basic requirements, which are, needs, and then you go forward from that and your wants. And then the next level would be, I don't know, greed. I mean, there's a fine line between the three of them, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's different for everyone. So, yeah.
Very good. Okay, so all of you kind of get the point of, the need, or even with Maslow's, hierarchy, we see that needs are something, the basic ones, roti, kapra, makan, and then we keep going up, and that's the want, right? Okay. So it's a very good understanding for us to at least understand on the surface that this is a need, that this is definitely something that's required as a bare minimum, and want is something more, but we can do without a want. So let me go a little deeper in this. So let us look at the physical and the emotional aspect of a need. Okay. Now, for example, we need water, right? We need water to drink, but we can drink it either from our hands, right? Or we can drink it in a gold cup, right? So if you look at it materially, so then you can, or physically, you can say that we need water, but the want of drinking in and what can be a want. So does that make sense in terms of need and want for your physical? Yeah. So physical, I guess we all understand, right? We need a I don't know, we need some sort of a water source to take a bath, but then again it could be a hi-fi shower, or it could be a hammam, or whatever it is where you go to take that and to bathe is a different thing. That's a want. So that's a physical difference. Okay. Now, and I think we're very clear about that. What about the emotional need? Okay, let's talk about emotional need. So, first of all, what do you think is an emotional need?
Perhaps to be accepted, to be loved.
Hmm.
And a want would be to be respected by others. And then I don't know if we're still discussing, but if you go forward and forward, when you reach greed, it's about control, about wanting to control someone. So
Hmm.
I think, yeah, I think a need is to be perhaps understood and not treated badly. I think that would be a basic need.
Hmm.
And yeah, I
Want
think,
would be, yeah, and you see how you, even though we're talking about need and want, you're constantly also going to greed, because I don't even know what the term is for that, but there is this term which has certain connotations, and that's also coming up again and again with need and want, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you're calling it greed, but we'll kind of unravel. Maybe it's something else, right? Okay,
Okay.
interesting. Okay, anyone else about emotional needs? What is that?
Somewhat same,
Hmm.
basic, but very, very important.
Yeah.
Far more important than the materialistic needs.
Hmm, that's also interesting. So in this, you feel emotional is more important than even the physical ones or other material things. Okay. So you're distinguishing between it. Good. Yes, same.
Yeah, same. But I think the emotional and physical both are equally important, especially when we are here. And
On this
there's no,
planet. Yeah,
it is reality, right? And
yeah,
while
yeah.
it may be temporary, but it is reality.
Yeah,
So,
that's a very interesting thing, because what if, like you're saying, a basic need of even water, and you can consider that as a physical need. What if you don't have that? Then very soon the emotional needs will spiral, right? Because if you don't have like the basics of your physical things met, then very soon the emotional will be devastated, because then you'll be like, it'll come to survival. So you're right, they are very intrinsically connected, and yeah.
yeah, I mean that's one way, but I meant it more from a philosophical perspective. I mean, like the world, the birth and the death being temporary and not permanent. I meant it from that perspective, but yeah, I mean
And
it
you're right.
feels
I mean, we are actually here to thrive, but I don't even want to jump
yeah,
there, because I want to
yeah,
say that even before jumping there, it'll be difficult to survive also without the physical ones.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So amazing. Okay. So we all understand that. Now let me give you an example of this one client of mine, and then maybe, I'll be able to explain to you what emotional needs are. So there's this one client of mine. She actually, just listen to the story, and then, I can ask you some questions around it that will probably help us go deeper into emotional needs. So when she was 2 years old, she her fam in her family, her mother got very sick, so the father had to take care of the mother. And when she was 2 years old, it was getting very difficult for them to take care of a, baby, so they kind of moved her to her grandparents' place. Okay, so nana nani. Now, when she went there, the nana, like, they were also very old, okay, so they couldn't really physically take care of her, like run with her, or, do all of that. So, first of all, this little girl who was in her space, safe space, so to say, she was kind of taken away from that. Okay, so there was this break in the bond between the. So this is a term that we use in, trauma informed healing. So when you say there's a break in the bond, it means the for the first 5 to 7 years, every child, they kind of need their mother's presence. Okay, presence, and also like the father's safety, so they feel safe in that environment. So when they're growing up, if they are separated from the mother, especially in the first 3 years, so that creates definitely break in the bond. And when that happens, uh, overall safety of that person throughout their life, which can reflect in different things. It could reflect in finances, it could reflect in health, it could, so many things, it depends on the person, that shows up. Okay, so this person was again in the grandparents' place, and even there she felt a little isolated, right? Because you're with older people now. I mean, she was safe in that sense, but she didn't feel supported. She didn't feel held. She was two after all, right? And then she kind of grew up there. And this is something that happened when she was young, in her life. Then later on, when she grew up, she went into adulthood, she got married. Okay, then with her partner, what happened is she had a very obsessive kind of behavior with him, and also very insecure, to the extent that every time, he would go out, or he would go to meet his friends, or he would even go out for like work, she would get hyper, and she would constantly text, and she would constantly try to get in touch with him. And there was this fear in her that, he's going to somehow leave her, or he's cheating, or he's doing something, that's going to make her go basically be alone, right? So when now what's happening here? Okay, if we kind of unravel it, when we did work, we did inner child work, all of this, we understood that she was 2 years old, and she was taken from, her safe space, her home, her mother, her father, and she was in that space where, she didn't feel like that security. So what happened was that for her, an emotional need of safety developed. Okay, safety, like she didn't feel safe here, or she didn't feel safe there. Okay, one was that safety is like a, I think, bigger, broader term. More of, I think another one was belongingness. She didn't feel she belonged anywhere. She didn't feel belong. She was kind of rejected from her space. She was kind of rejected there. And so what happened is she never addressed that belongingness in her life. And now what is happening is she's looking for that mother that she couldn't have, when she was 2 years old, in her husband. So now she's looking for a parent. So that 2 year old client of mine is now 30, but her 2 year old version is still looking for the mother, right? And where is she looking for? She doesn't know that consciously, right? This is all subconscious work. And as the 2 year old is looking for that attention constantly from her husband, and of course, it's not possible, right? He has to go to work, he has to meet people, he has to do other things. And even if he's not sort of cheating on her, it's getting difficult to deal with this, right? Because this energy of hers that's coming from is because of lack of belongingness, right? And that's her emotional need that's not getting fulfilled, but it's getting reflected in different areas in her life now. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, yeah, so any comments on this, or have you seen such a thing in your life? Or, well, not exactly this, but I actually want you to take like 2 minutes and think of such emotional need. So now what is happening? Her want of her husband giving her attention, that was the want, but underneath that was a need of belongingness. You see? So she constantly wanted to be in touch with her husband, but that was not the point. It was this need that she wanted to fulfill from this. Does that make sense? So I just want you to think of maybe some wants in, it might not click, but something might come up for you that you want something in your life right now when it comes to emotional want, emotional need, but actually it's coming from a deeper need, you know? And yeah, so just maybe ponder over it if something comes up in the next 1 or 2 minutes, and then let's just share and see, if that makes sense.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Are we discussing just our own personal behavioral patterns, or
No,
just
we don't
something
need
we possibly could have just observed in someone else?
anything. Anything.
Okay. So I do know somebody who has this constant need of wanting to save and help and nurture, and it's a repetitive pattern. And I think it stems from something much deeper, because there's a need to feel um, loved but
Yeah.
not respected. And even though this person is doing a lot for these people, even though they're much younger, they could be stepping on them, and they still have this constant need to please them. And
Yeah.
I find that it's not normal, in the sense, like, if you were able to address that in your own mind, you shouldn't be doing that on repeat again and again. At some point, I think a person's self respect or the ego that we have in ourselves would take over and say, hello, I mean, I've had enough.
Yeah.
But there is something much deeper going on with them, and I'm able to recognize that. And I wouldn't know if something I were doing.
Yeah.
It's something that you notice perhaps in others. So
Yes.
um, I'm sure there are things that we also do on repeat over and over, but it's hard to address it because you're not able to reflect at that level. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's just something I notice, and I don't know what it comes from, but there is a constant need there.
And you're so right. But when you said that, when you look at somebody, when you observe someone, right, and you feel like, how are they even doing this? Don't they have any self-respect? But what I want to tell you is that, for this example, like this client of mine, don't you feel like if somebody rationally would be looking at her, they would be like, what are you doing? Why are you, like, do you have no self-respect? But it's not coming from there. They need that need of belongingness, right? And that belongingness, jab tak wo pura nahi hoga, fulfill nahi hoga, they don't understand what they're doing, right? For them, it's that need that needs to be fulfilled, right? And actually in the process you can see that the self respect is also going away. Maybe the relationship also breaks, maybe the husband is like, what are you doing, like, I am there as much as I can be, but they don't understand that, because it's just, I want you to see the adult self and I want you to see the 2-year old. And imagine, when there is a 2-year old, do they care about self respect? No, they just want their mother, right? And they just want their father, and they just want the mother and father to hug you. And that's what we're going to work on next, how do we address all of it. But I just want you to unravel, these examples more and more, so that we can go to the next level. So anyone else? Where, like Miss Sarah just said, that where you've, not even your story, maybe you've observed that they are constantly doing something, but maybe there is a need behind it, because it doesn't make sense the way they are behaving. Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually relate to two things. Maybe not for me, but for my ex-wife and for my mom. Very, 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 very clear it was. I mean, that feel to be accepted, and that is why they've ended up. I mean, at least my mom ended becoming a people pleaser. So, and my dad also at a particular level, it's not as clear, but when I think about of certain actions, yeah, it shows that that need for acceptance is there. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Great, yeah. So it's good for us to at least be aware, because now, then we'll understand how we can even work on ourselves. And once we do it ourselves, then it doesn't, then other people actually learn from it, and it's kind of contagious, the healing, right? So anything else, Yashika, you want to share, or should I just move to the next thing?
Yeah, so I remember my mother being very strict with the money. We were quite okay when we were kids financially, but somehow she was very strict. She still is. And I remember I was the most privileged girl in the hostel. I always had brands to be used as cosmetics. But still,
Yeah.
that fragment of not having enough money has not left me. I'm working since some years now, but that thing I've not been able to work on, and that stuckness in finances is still what bothers me.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what, now I want to talk about. So when we say emotional needs, and we're talking about needs, and it's good that, Yashika talked about finances, so it's a great segue to talk about financial stability. Okay, let's think about different aspects of our lives. Okay, so now that we know about our needs, okay, and I mean, we know what needs are actually. It's like the bare minimum, right? It's like survival. It's definitely something that we can't do without, that we all agree on, right? So now, be it physical needs or emotional needs. Emotional, may we have to kind of go deeper a little bit, but let's talk more about say financial stability. We all are at a place where, we think finances, we do finances, we want more finances, or, we know the lack also, that what we don't have. Okay, but in terms of needs, I want you all to think about, you don't have to share, but in terms of needs, I want you all to think, like, ponder that what is my bare minimum. Now, for some people, it can be 50,000. For some people, it can be 5 crores. For some people, it can be 10 crores, whatever. Okay. For a month is what I'm saying. Now, why is it important for us to know what our bare minimum is? Okay. Whether we earn that much or not is not the thing. But what is my bare minimum? Okay. Is for us to know, suppose it's 50,000. Okay. Or suppose it's 1 lakh. कि 1 lakh तो मुझे चाहिए. I don't like, I cannot survive like less than that. Okay. When you know your need, I'm not talking about want, and forget about greed. Okay, because actually greed is, it's a term that's I think implanted in us for us to not think big, or not want, or not desire, because who knows what's greed, right? For somebody who is maybe less privileged than you, everything you have is greed, right? And for someone who's even more than you, uske liye wo greed hai. Greed ka there's no definition, because it's like, but it's a very negative connotation. You feel guilty. Whatever you have, you'll feel guilty when that word comes, right? So let's And I know it's like really within us, right? So let's be gentle with us and like not even think that, that's a term for us today, because we can ask for the world and that's not going to be great. Okay, so it's difficult, but that's what why we are here, to kind of understand ourselves, to be kind to ourselves, and to understand where we are coming from. When we know where we are coming from, only then can we unpack and make it better, right, or change it, right? Okay, so in terms of financial stability, I want you all to think of a term, of a number. And why am I saying knowing that need is important? Because until and unless we know our need, we are just randomly, saying paise nahi hai, or we don't have enough. We keep going in a circle, and even if we have money, we also then think abhi bhi nahi hai. We still have something, because there will always be desires that we want, right? But when we know our bare minimum, like for example, we know a lakh, okay, a month, I need it. What are you doing? You're telling that little self of yours, like Yashika is saying, when she was little, they had enough money, but the mother was constantly telling you, no, 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 whatever. Or like, if we don't have. So that little Yashika at whatever age realize that I don't have enough. And now what's happening is this, now she's older, she has money, she's still earning, but she's always feeling I don't have enough. Why? Because the programming has been done, right? Now whatever you have, you'll never be happy. I'm just saying, it's an example, right? So what we want is, by when we have our needs very clear, ki I need 1 lakh, I need 50,000, I need 5,000, whatever, and and we tell ourselves, we write it down and we make a promise to ourselves. What are we doing? We are actually reparenting our inner selves, and we're telling them that no matter what, I'm going to make at least this much, like whatever that is. Now maybe you guys are making 10 times more than that, but you know ki itna se mera chal jayega. I know I will not die, I will survive. There'll be food, there'll be bills to pay, I'll be able to make it. Okay, now when that happens, no, that need is satisfied inside. That little self of yours who thought that, money nahi ho sakta is satiated. You get it? Now they will not go crazy about nahi hai, nahi hai, nahi hai, we don't have money, I'm going crazy, what am I going to do? I'm going to have a breakdown. So that little self, when it calms down, you'll see you'll become even more calmer and more money will come in. But you know that you are taken care of, because that part of you knows that bare minimum ho gaya hai. Does that make sense? Or is it like not aligning? Or you have any questions?
So when we say,
Yeah.
so I'm confused where we say that we might be having more, but we are looking at
Yeah.
I just
So
need this much.
suppose you
Yeah,
make
so
10 lakhs.
I lost myself there.
Okay, suppose you make 10 lakhs a month, okay? But now that you kind of sit with yourself, you understand, all your bills and all, everything you write down, you think about it, right? And अंदर से एक feeling आएगा कि but अगर ये नहीं होता, suppose this job was not there, this was not there, nothing happened, then how much amount would I need to survive every month? Meaning मेरे bills भी pay हो जाएंगे, मेरा खाना भी हो जाएगा. I know I can kind of deal with this. Like even if I don't order out, I can still make food, I can buy vegetables, and I can survive in 1 lakh. Even though I make 10 lakhs. But कि अगर 1 lakh होगा, I can survive. I can still manage everything. But उससे कम I cannot negotiate, because no, no, no. Then, like there are certain things I need to do every month, and that is a requirement. Uske niche I cannot compromise. So now you're making this much, but you know that 1 lakh is your bare minimum. Okay. That's what I mean. And so what happens is, when you agree, keep this thing is I'm making every month, that inner child of yours that was going crazy about I don't have, I don't have, I don't have, she will think, okay, now Yashika is committed to herself and her financial stability, or whatever it is, she is fulfilling that need of us. So now when Yashika will want 50 lakhs a month, she will be able to go there. Why? Because that need has been fulfilled. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's looking it from that point of view.
Yeah,
Changing the view, yeah, not looking at the scarcity.
yeah, that's what you're doing. Yeah, Yash.
Just repeat the last part again. When after you've established that maybe you need 1 lakh a month, then from going from there to 50 lakhs is more like a positive reinforcement sort of a thing, yeah. A,
Yeah, so
a,
actually needs की बातें इसलिए हो रही थी because I wanted to go from needs to wants, and actually there is a direct connection between that, and that's what we'll do next. What is a need?
what?
A need is a, say.
No, sorry, that's a separate thing. But what if sometimes you even feel that you're not good enough to earn that minimum, even though that you know that it's wrong and false, and it's just the mind
I
playing
have the
tricks
same.
on you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean,
I have the same
it's
questions.
yeah.
Yet to achieve the need.
Yeah, but that's why I was not going to finances because, but you gave an example, so I went. Now, what is happening is, even with that financial stability, Yash, Yashika, 1 lakh wala, उसके भी नीचे एक need है. Why
the
is that
need.
1 lakh your bare minimum? Okay, why do you need it? So you kind of go deeper, and maybe one will feel respect. Huh? I'm giving you examples here. One will feel taken care of, right? One will feel secure. One will feel loved. कि parents ने तो नहीं दिया, and I was not taken care of. But if I have this much, then Yash will feel respected. Then I'll feel loved. Then I'll feel taken care
Or
of.
maybe, yeah, maybe secure. I mean, yeah,
Secure,
that's
right?
what,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what rings a bell for me.
Yeah, yeah. So again, now वो stability लाने के लिए भी you need to fulfill the need of feeling secure. You get it? So now you know your need is security. It's maybe 1 lakh. Okay, again, this is something that this need is helping you get so that you can grow, you can get more money, right? But जब तक yes, you will not feel secure, you won't be even able to fulfill that 1 lakh, right? Like you just said, कि
Yeah,
उसको भी मुझे बुरा
yeah.
लगता है, right? And then you won't be able to go आगे also. So that was the whole point, that until and unless our emotional needs of whatever we want in life, there are layers to it, okay? And definitely wants के नीचे तो need है ही है, right? But what I'm saying is even that bare minimum need के नीचे भी another need है, emotional need, which is safety, which is security, like you said, or which is love, anything it could be, right? Now, let me give you another example to kind of make it more understandable. So, there was this person, another client of mine, she was trying to buy a house, okay? Constantly, she was getting loans. She was like 30, 32, 33, getting loans. She actually had some money that she had saved, and some scam happened, and even that money went away, okay? So she was trying for many years actually to buy a house, and it wasn't happening. That's when she came to me and she's like, what is this? Like, there is this pattern of me wanting to get a house, but every time I'm trying, I'm actually forgetting now what happened. I've completely forgot what happened. Anyways, okay. So she was trying to buy a house, and when we did again work on her, we realized that uh, yeah. So she had a ancestral home that basically, when she was 5 or 6 years old, it got burned down completely. And like she kind of remembers, but she doesn't have much of a memory, and then she had to move out, and they were well off, so they kind of lived somewhere else, and she grew up and all. But that so what happened when she was young, all the things, everything she had kind of just went away, right? Like one day, one night, and it all burned down, and everything went, all her belongings and everything. So now when we did work, we realize that all her life, even though she doesn't remember, but everyone in the family has been saying, like, this family is cursed. Or, like, there is this energy in the house that, the houses never prosper. So she grew up, even though she doesn't remember, she grew up with that. And she constantly, her parents are also talking about it because they were obviously adults, right, when this happened and everything. And every time. So subconsciously, for her, literally safety of a home is something that's her need, right? Like safety in a place, in a space is something that she requires. and that need, even though uske baad everything was fine, was kind of burned down, right, when she was young. So now what is happening is, as she grew up, she is trying to get a house, but for house, this is another perspective, that the house is not manifesting. Why? Because somewhere that fear of safety, that even if I get it, it'll go away. So it's not coming. You see how it's manifesting, that this need of safety is not, she doesn't even know she has a need of safety, so she's not working on it. But life में she's just doing things, she's wanting a home, she's wanting a house, she's earning money, money भी जा रहा है बार बार, घर भी नहीं आ रहा है. Why? Because it all kind of boils down to, she's not feeling safe. That need for safety is there, okay, because that 5-year-old lost everything in that fire. Okay, now I want to tell you that all of these needs, okay, first of all, it's very important for us to understand हमारे needs हैं क्या, right? Now it's very good that yes, you said कि 1 lakh maybe I'm feeling अरे I don't deserve it, तो then इसका मतलब है what is the need, right? Maybe there is respect, maybe there is deservingness, whatever the need is, you kind of write it down, and it's not going to come अभी बात करते करते, you probably have to sit on it and kind of make your own thing, and it will take a few days. Again, don't be harsh on yourself, whatever it is, make different areas of your life and उसके नीचे सारे needs लिखो. Then what happens is, this is actually a form of self care, knowing your true needs. We say self care is going to a spa, all of that is also important. But this kind of self care is actually something that will open up real doors for your, opportunities, your life, your, everything that you really want. Why? Because only when our needs, all of these needs, emotional needs, are fulfilled one by one, we open up to our wants. उसके पहले तो wants होगा ही नहीं. उसके पहले actually, yes, so उसके पहले every want that you have, like even 1 lakh basic income or basic whatever, you will feel undeserving. For every want that you have, you'll feel it's greed. Every want you'll have, no, 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 abhi nahi, abhi nahi, abhi nahi, abhi nahi. Why? जब तक your needs are not fulfilled, you'll actually feel every want is not your cup of tea, and you'll feel guilty. You'll want it, मन करेगा, but you'll be like, नहीं नहीं, not for me, yeah, ये तो अमीर लोग हैं, or you'll come up with 100 reasons why you can't have it, until and unless you fulfill your need. However, when you fulfill your need, then it'll be very easy for you to jump and go, even to the stars, because then, your basic thing is fulfilled. Now you have no issues, that like little self of yours is happy now, until then that little self will keep asking for the mother, the father, attention, attention, attention. Okay, so now this need of yours can only be fulfilled by you. So the one thing that I did with this person was that the person who lost her home, when we did work with her, I told her, why don't you find a safe space for yourself that you can call home? Meaning, wherever she was living, wo to tha hi, but I said, within that space, why don't you create a space that is a safe space for you, which you really call home? And so it took her time to understand, but then she sat with her and she realized she likes plants, and she likes these beautiful paintings, some paintings that she's fond of. And so I told her to actually decorate that part of her room with plants, with those paintings, and sit there, be there, feel good there. And she started doing that. So she didn't have to buy a place, or she didn't have to go, you can do that as well, but within her space she built a safe space for herself. And slowly she started feeling, she came out of that thing of oh my god, I there is no safety, I can never have a home. And when that inner child of hers, that 5-year-old who lost everything, was happy, that okay, now she is at a safe space, she actually within a couple of years bought a home, and now she's happy. So that want of a home was fulfilled when that need of safety was taken care of. You see? Yeah. So, and this is true for and why am I saying that only you can do it? Because it's very easy for us to feel entitled and go that, like, why is this person not talking to me? Why is this person not loving me? Why is this person not understanding me? It's very easy for us to go in that, that other side of us, where what's happening is that actually is that little child inside us that's throwing that tantrum. But nobody is, like, you are not entitled to, nobody is responsible for making you feel safe, or making you feel loved, or making you feel respected. Those are your needs, and only you can fulfill them. And I know it can sound a little daunting, because it's like, what the hell, if I want to feel loved, like, how do I love myself? But actually, this is the most empowering thing if you look at it that way, because you yourself can fulfill your needs, and you don't need anyone. It might sound daunting, it might sound like, how do I do it? But once you figure it out, once you kind of sit with that child, it's going to become easy. And imagine, then actually you go to financial stability, right? Then you go to health, then you go to various sections, various areas of your life, and figure out what is my bare minimum. Like for health, this is my bare minimum, this is what I want to eat, this is my health, this thing quota, this is my exercise thing, I'm not going to compromise on it, kuch bhi ho jaye, I'm going to do this every day. And your health starts improving. अभी तक you're thinking, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that, कुछ हो नहीं रहा, कुछ हो नहीं रहा, कुछ हो नहीं रहा. But once your bare minimum is met, you'll see all your goals start, because then your wants start opening up, right? And you'll be like, अरे अभी तक तो it took me 2 years to go to the gym every day, now suddenly. But yeah, you have to be committed to that need then, because then what will happen if you say and you don't do. That inner child is anyways used to people telling the child and not getting what they want. You see, like, the child is already used to being ignored, the child is already used to not being loved, the child is already used to not being respected, and now you are also doing the same thing to the child. So that need is not getting fulfilled, that need is becoming bigger and bigger. Now the child will ask for more attention, you see. So it can actually become worse, but only you can soothe that child, okay? And only you can make that need okay, and that need is yours, you decide. Okay, there is no, oh, आज तो मेरा 1 lakh था, कल 2 lakh हो गया. That's fine, it can keep changing, because as a person you're also growing. But there will be a point where you know कि इससे more or less it's this amount. I'm just talking about the amount, because a lot of people ask me, ये तो change होता रहता है. It's fine, but at least try and maintain that, whatever it is. Yeah. So I know थोड़ा ज़्यादा वो हो गया, deep. So again, need is internal and want is external. Yeah. So need is something that can be worked upon within yourself. Want हमेशा बाहर से आएगा, right? You want a house, you want a this, you want more money, you want anything. That's all external. So yeah, any questions?
Anisha, hi, Yashoda this side.
Yeah.
So, we are having this discussion. I have one question. Like you said that if, for example, if there is a repetitive pattern, for example, I have discussed this with you before also. For example, if I'm seeing a repetitive pattern in my job, that every time I'm encountering the same kind of people where I have to, perform a lot. Initially, there are issues and then they figure out.
Hmm.
Also in the money part also, like similar kind of people, similar kind of politics and similar kind of settlements I've seen. It's been 10 years of work ex now, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing similar patterns in my financial thing also. Like every year my salary is increasing, and उतना पैसा होता है हमेशा that I'm very easily able to meet all my requirements. किसी, if I've like there are more expenditures in a certain month, still I'm able to meet my things. But
Yeah.
there is this deep down feeling, and I realize that every year this is happening, that I'm not able. I always feel that I have to save money. But the moment I think more about this, some of the other expenditure will happen in that month, and I'll not be able to save anything. It
Yeah.
has gone to an extent that I've saved certain amount, and this thought has always been there in the last 10 years. And there was a point where I lost all my savings, even my PF and everything. My bank balance literally became zero. And I
Yeah.
lost my job also that time. So, do you think this repetitive pattern of not being able to save, a repetitive pattern of, meeting similar kind of people, that also is stemming from my childhood?
Yeah.
Now, do I really sit and identify what is the reason? Why am I so, hell bent on saving the money? And with this entire fear of not being able to save, not being able to perform enough in job, it is more around my job and my money. Personal life,
Yeah.
so much so that I don't think much about my personal life. My job is my escape, and that also I'm not able to figure out.
So see, here, Yashoda, I would again, suddenly we feel like, oh my God, everything I need to figure out right now. But what I'm happy about is that you're able to at least connect the dots, that maybe there is something behind this, because there is a pattern going on. And actually,
Mhm.
you're right, it's not just your work. You just said that you're escaping something at from whatever is happening at home or wherever relationship mein, you're
True,
escaping and
true.
you're going to work, right? So
Hmm.
there is a need in the relationship aspect that you need to address. एक need है that you are trying to, you are escaping, मतलब you're not even looking at that need, you're like, yeah, whatever, मैं ये करूंगी, but when you're doing this all the money is going away, you see. तो
Very
there
true.
is a
Yeah.
need I think the need is in the relationship space, in the home space. And when that need,
Hmm.
yes, I'll come to you next, huh? When that need is fulfilled in your home space, I think everything will get sorted, even the money.
And if you like, somehow I'm surrounded in such a situation that the situation at home cannot be fixed. So you think
Oh,
sitting
okay.
with myself, looking in my childhood, can heal this problem?
Yeah, so that's what. By the way, guys, here you don't need anyone else. You don't need to change your mom, dad, partner, mother-in-law. No, this is all self-inquiry that you're doing, because this is your need. Okay, that's why I'm talking about self-care. Most of us don't know our needs. We are living our lives. We are feeling entitled that other people will fulfill our needs when we don't know our needs. We want our parents to understand us. We don't understand us, right? Because our need what is our need? We don't even know our needs, but we want our parents don't understand us. You get it? And maybe their
Okay.
understanding, I'm not even talking about you, Yashoda, I'm just saying generally that sometimes we want our parents to understand us, right? But imagine our need is for belongingness, ठीक है? They can't make you feel belong in the family. You need to bring that belongingness within you. You need to bring that, how do you make yourself feel belong? I mean, that's the whole work that we do in inner child. And actually, for all of you, I'm going to give you the EFT uh, like rounds to do, so that you can actually figure out that need and then do EFT, and then kind of clear that negative charge to that emotion, so that you feel more fulfilled. Okay, so that's how you actually work on these emotions. But how to figure out your needs, that also I'm actually building a question, and I think it'll help you. What I do is, what is it that's triggering you? Okay. So there's something that triggers you. When you meet someone, the way they talk, it triggers you, right? Sometimes you go to office and like whatever, some people trigger you, right? There is something in that triggers you. They are very nosy, they are very bitchy, they are this, they are that. Okay. Now you need to start looking at yourself. You change the question, okay? You kind of flip it, and you see, where are you being bitchy to yourself? Where are you being you know judgmental about yourself? Make a note of that. And that's where your need will be. That's first, usko samjho. And that's where if you're being too judgmental about yourself, this means you need to be kind to yourself, right? Because being judgmental se kya hoga if you're being very harsh on yourself? So you need, then you flip it. We can do another thing on how to go there, but today I just wanted to explain to you why knowing our needs is so important. And actually, when we don't know our needs, one is we can't fulfill our wants, which is our desires. And second is, other things also start crumbling. Like you saw, that person lost her money. She couldn't even get a house. For like Yashoda is also saying she's trying to do something at work that's not working out. So other things are also not fulfilling because this little child or whatever that need is screaming. It's saying, fulfill me, look at me, what about me? तो वो जब तक पूरा नहीं होगा, there are all these blocks that keep coming up in life. You see? So Yashoda, if you want, we can kind of unpack it. Your home wala thing. If not,
Okay.
you want to do it?
Not right now, maybe some other time. Yeah.
So I'll actually send a question and also you kind of do that, okay? And see
Okay.
what the need is. Once you figure out the need, then it'll become very easy.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, tell me.
So no, no, I just realized that, this security wala thing, where does it come from? So as a child growing up, we moved to Nepal without anything. So
Yeah,
my mom always used to say, we live hand to mouth, hand to mouth, hand to mouth. So for some reason, it's there etched in my mind. And जो हम लोग का friend circle था, some of them used to be, smarter. They were not straightforward. So my mom was all, अरे देखो उन लोग ऐसे, उन लोग ऐसे. So for some reason, I made this association of hand to mouth, and people who have money are well off are not, सीधा, or they are tedha. So, and I'm not supposed to be tedha. So
yeah.
that's the reason where, that dissonance is always there. So that's what
So
I've
what's the need?
consciously realized now.
What's
The
the need?
need is safety.
Yeah,
This need is safety.
yeah,
That's one. But adding on to that, the reason why perhaps my inner child doesn't want to also get rich is because it's associating
yeah,
wealth with people who are then not sida sada, or according to my mom's definition, not whatever.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so even with our needs, guys, we will also would have bought so many stories, right? Like mom said this, dad said this, and sometimes you don't even know who said it. It's just subconsciously in our head, we just feel like for you, Nistara, you're constantly also thinking greed. So somewhere subconsciously you've probably picked up that there is only a certain limit. Uski upar is greed. So I don't want to get into that greed. So, but what is, like I said, but that's just question mark. We don't know for you, for someone, who's maybe a beggar, everything you are doing is greed. Yeah, for you, for some other level of money, whatever he is doing is greed. So that's actually just a way for us to stop ourselves from growing, wanting, needing. Imagine, even imagining, if we are thinking so much, this means ki, imagine no one else has to tell us this. We are only putting those limits on us, so it will be difficult for us to grow, right? So coming back to needs, knowing our needs, right? How do you know your needs? Like I said, every maybe look at your vision board. Look at the things you want today. Okay, make a list of all the things you want. I want this much money, car, relationship, anything you want to manifest. Now, under that, I want you to start looking at the need. क्यों चाहिए? Like, if anybody wants to volunteer, we can pick one thing up and we'll kind of ask questions. I'll ask you questions and we'll come to the need. So then you at least know कि this is the need, that you need to work on. So does anybody, you can pick anything random you want, and then we can kind of go deeper, deeper, deeper to understand the need. Does anybody want to volunteer?
Anisha, chalo, I'll volunteer with this need only.
ठीक है. What do you want? What is the want?
I want to save a lot of money
ठीक है. Why do you want to save a lot of money?
to, to use it whenever there is a need in future and to feel more secure.
ठीक है. So yeah, so when you have a lot of money, when when there is a emergency,
Hmm.
how does that make you feel?
Vulnerable. I don't want to be dependent on anybody.
What will happen if you're dependent?
That will make that will just make me vulnerable and weak.
Weak. What happens
And
if
I'll otherwise, because if, for example, if I help, if I don't have money in an emergency, one, it will be a little embarrassing situation. Plus, people might judge me that I've been working for so many years. How can I not have enough to support myself?
Mhm.
Secondly, there's always this component of being betrayed. The people you most rely on might not support you. or
Hmm.
might judge you for who you are.
Who betrayed you? I mean, anybody in the family? Where is this betrayal coming from?
I don't remember as such, but like, this is the feeling I have constantly as a child. Of course, I've always had this concept of being the second daughter in the house, and
Hmm.
I feel I don't want to be dependent on anybody being a girl child. And if I do not have enough savings,
Hmm.
then I'll this entire idea of being even if I'm a girl,
Hmm.
I can be
Okay.
the man of the house. So then that is also the reason I feel that if I'll ask for money, this entire notion of myself goes.
So imagine you don't have any money, and now everybody is looking at you, judging you. You are this
Hmm.
girl.
Hmm.
What happens?
Then the norms of the society comes to na ki bhaiya having like being a female
How does
is a
it
wrong
matter to you?
thing.
A lot of things you probably are coming true, what norms are in the culture, no? And you are doing it. But how does this matter? Like, why is this so important that this comes true and, I can't do this? We started with,
And
I don't have money, and we went to
hmm,
norms. So, why are the norms so important? Isn't the focus on I don't have money?
I think it came from the idea that why do I want to save money? I want to save money so that I don't have to be vulnerable. I don't want to be vulnerable because of my gender, because this entire idea of being the second daughter in the house and not being this the son after the first daughter does create an identity crisis. So maybe that is the reason कि मुझे हमेशा ये लगता है कि नहीं यार पैसा नहीं कम होना चाहिए, because had I been a male in the house I could have supported the family. So even if I'm the female, I can still support the family and have sufficient amount of money.
Okay. I feel, Yashoda, if you kind of go deeper, 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 are you all seeing how money की बात आई, but it's all about being the girl. I cannot be, I want to be the man of the family, right? I can't ask for money, right? As if being the man, a man can't ask for money, but even that's kind of drilled, right? But girl to
Hmm.
definitely cannot ask for money, right? Now what you really need to do, what the need is here, Yashoda, is to actually
Hmm.
embrace your femininity. And there is so much rejection of being a girl, or that feminine energy, that what's happening is, what feminine energy is actually when it talks about money, it's about just receiving. That's the feminine energy. You're just lying and you're just relaxing and you're just at ease, and money just comes to you. That's the feminine energy actually. Feminine energy is receiving, isn't it? I mean, if you look at
Hmm.
Shiva, Shakti, all of that,
Hmm.
the feminine actually वो बस सिर्फ she receives, she just gets. And when I say that to you, I'm sure you're just like, what the hell is that, right? Like, how do I just receive? Like with you,
Hmm.
everything is so there is betrayal, जो betrayal हुआ भी नहीं है, but you're like betrayal होगा. अगर if I ask for money, the person will probably betray me, right? There is so much judgment, there is embarrassment, there is weakness, there
Hmm.
is loaded terms. Even though you're not even focusing on how will I survive अगर पैसे नहीं होंगे, there are so many things
Hmm.
before that, right? Even before
Hmm.
बाकी चीजें तो don't even matter. I don't think not having money is the problem. It's these
Hmm.
things that are actually the problem. Being dependent, being called weak, being embarrassed, being judged, being betrayed, all of that. So there is the identity crisis, and that is coming from the feminine wound. So what you need to do is
Hmm.
actually the need is to embrace the femininity, to be, as a girl child, like when you were growing up, somebody just came and hugged you and said, you're a good girl. And maybe you didn't get that, or maybe you didn't get that appreciation for being a girl. Is that true?
Hmm. Very true.
Yeah. So now that girl child, literally, maybe how old were you when you realized ki I want to be a man, or like, man of the house?
I think at a very young age, 6, 7 years, or I don't
Ah.
know. As far as I can remember, I have not. I don't remember a childhood when I did not feel this competition with the other gender.
Yeah. So imagine the 6-year-old Yashoda is crying for being accepted as a girl, as just maybe you went through, maybe you'll have hormonal, I don't know if you have, but because you're rejecting your femininity, you probably have hormonal issues. I don't know if you have, but maybe. And what happens is, because you just like, I don't want to be this, I want to be a man who is just cutthroat, who makes money, who gives money, who's the provider, and everything else is just shut up, like I don't want to know about anything about being a woman. So in the process, you're actually, the magic that's in you of being a feminine energy is being rejected, you see.
Hmm.
Because the feminine, actually, if she wants, she can do whatever she wants. She can receive, she can help, she can serve the world, she can be the mother, she can be the kali, whatever she wants. She has so many aspects to it, but a man only has one aspect, I'm just saying. Like, but you are rejecting that for being the man, whereas and do you see, you are trying to be something that others want you to be. That does
Hmm.
not fulfill your need.
Hmm.
What's your need? Jab tak your need will not be fulfilled, Yashoda, it doesn't matter what others want. Others can want anything. Others will keep wanting other things for you. They will say, you are a girl,
Hmm.
do this. They will say, you are a boy, do this. A ladka, I don't know, dance nahi karta, right? Ladka ye nahi karta, ye ladka to job
Hmm.
whatever. People will say 100 things. But that is not your need. That's why this is
Hmm.
self-care. You
Okay.
have to take care of your need. Only then whatever you want can actually get fulfilled. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
I'll send you some stuff on how to embrace your femininity. Try that, doing that, and you'll actually see a
Okay.
huge difference.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys, you want to talk about? I have, I think, a few more things, and then we'll end.
I have a quick question, Anisha. So, what if it's in a little bit of a reverse cycle? So, you
Mhm.
received all that goodness while growing up and you got that love, but suddenly now you're not receiving it from the people you're surrounded by. It- Does that, like, you've always received it and now you're not? How do you identify if this is something like it's a need and it's always been fulfilled and now it's not? Is that like a reverse version of what we're talking, or is
Hmm.
that something because you always had it and now you don't, that you feel it? And how do you address that, or how do you identify?
I get it. So
um,
you're saying, as a child, what you probably thought was your need was fulfilled, but now you don't feel that happening. Is that what you're saying?
No, 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 no. So, see, like we're discussing how love and acceptance as a kid, for either whether you're a female or just a woman or a child, feeling security and safety and everything. And say you've always had that
Yeah.
growing up with your parents, but now because as an adult, you don't live with them, you live away, surround yourself with your new families or your new friends or your work people who are around you all
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah.
and that self need of being loved or just thought of as a good person,
Hmm.
which you're always striving to be a good person. Talk about it. I'm just going to talk about myself right now. I don't know how it works with everybody, but there's this constant need of wanting to be that good. Uh, how do you say, the person who's always, there for you
Yeah.
in whatever way the other person may need you to be.
Yeah.
And that
Where is
some
that?
reason you're not getting that respect or love, and you're just getting bad behavior. And perhaps it's just because I am used to like a certain type of mannerism about people, just basic things that for me might be basic, but for someone else it's not their normal. So
Yeah.
how do you kind of address that? Is that like my issue, or is that just me kind of being bothered by somebody else's normal? And like, is there a way for me to be able to fulfill that which is my need?
Okay. What I'll tell you guys is, everything to do with your need is your issue. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, every time we feel that someone else is going to fulfill it, we are going to be in a soup. Nobody can fulfill it. Why? I'll tell you why. Because we'll go a little deeper in your point also, Nisara, about the good person. But the thing is that need of ours, can only be fulfilled by our adult self, because we are kind of in the process reparenting ourselves, if you look at it that way. Because what is happening is that child is looking for a parent. And imagine your partner or your business partner, wherever you're looking at, they cannot be your parent, right? They just can't be. So only you can reparent yourself when you look at that need, actually, if you're talking about. Okay. Now, when you said being a good person, tell me, why do you want to be a good person?
I guess that's my way of being accepted and loved. I don't know if
What will happen if you're not accepted or loved?
well, to be honest, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Think what's the fear here? Imagine today you're not accepted or loved. Then
No, it's not nothing at that level. It's just some sort of emotional need, right? To be
no,
wanted in
that's
a
what I'm
certain
saying.
life.
It's coming from somewhere. You don't, I mean, once you know the need, because see, we say emotional need, and it's very
Yeah,
broad, and like
yeah,
we don't know what it is. So that's why I'm trying to pinpoint. When you know what it is, then you know you don't need to do all of this. You probably just need to fulfill that. And when you fulfill that, you don't need to please anyone. You get it? Because somewhere you're trying to be that good girl because you want something, of course, right? You need something. But what is that need is what I'm trying to look for. Because maybe once you know what you need, you're like, maybe I don't need to do that because now I can fulfill it myself. So that's why I'm asking you. And again, you don't have to answer, but maybe go a little deeper as to why you feel this need for acceptance, why you feel this need to be loved. Because everyone, every time, cannot love you. Yeah.
yeah,
There will be
yeah.
places where they'll say something, you'll be hurt. But that's what I'm saying. When you fulfill your need, you won't actually feel hurt when they say something because it's anyways not their duty or job to do it. That burden will be lifted off of them also. So they'll also feel free, and you are anyways content because of your need being fulfilled. Then they'll change. Then they'll want to be around you. They'll want to be around Nistara. They'll want to talk to you, and it won't matter to you whether they talk to you or not. You see, because your need would be fulfilled, you're not dependent on them to fulfill your need. most
Right.
of most of us are dependent on other people to fulfill our needs, and ironically we don't even know what our needs are. So again, this is just a say.
Yeah, sorry. So I wanted to also ask you, like, how do you help yourself identify these needs?
Yeah, I'm going to make a question. I just realized it'll help to go deeper, right? And I'm going to make a question and I'm going to share it with all of you so that you know your want, you see your pattern, people pleasing, or you see your want, like you want to make money, and then you kind of go deeper, deeper, deeper to understand what the need is, right? So I'm going to create one and share it with all of you, okay? So that will be a great exercise you can all do. Once you do it, then I'm going to share EFT with you. You look at that, if that need, and you kind of like do the EFT and remove the charge from your system, and slowly and steadily, you yourself will look at that need and be like, okay, I feel this. And that's when there, and by the way, I've created this system also. I don't know if you guys have seen Decode the Code. Check it out. I'm going to reshare also. Use that also to remove the charge of your emotions, okay, and use it and give me feedback. Now, any other questions before I just want to then end with my system?
Anisha, and while we are having this discussion, I got one more thought in my mind.
Yeah.
Because we did not have a male child so soon in the house, and we were like sisters. And my mother would always, bring up this fear, कि अरे तुम्हारे पापा को कुछ हो जाएगा, तो how will we survive? How will we survive? And till date, I have this fear that my father will die. That even at this stage, at times I check if he's still breathing or not. Do you
Yeah.
think it's this fear of being vulnerable? And I face the similar thing in my relationship also, that
Yeah.
deep down I have this feeling that it's 14 years of relationship, but I always feel that that my boyfriend will pass one day very soon. So
Yeah.
I need to be more financially secure, and I never take any financial help from him, thinking ki if I get dependent on him and then he dies, I'll become very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So you think this entire fear of losing him, and I have consulted a lot of people, why am I so afraid of being a widow? This is also one of the reasons I've been not
getting married till date, that I keep avoiding the topic. So
See,
that also is stemming from this insecurity and childhood thought in my mind of losing my father and getting vulnerable, which is why I want a lot of money and to save money.
yeah, because see, this guys, this is an example. This is a pure example of safety, right? As a
Hmm.
child, if you feel your father is going to pass away, can you imagine the terror? So for that little child who thinks, who believes, because the mother is saying this, who believes the father is going to pass away, and I'm going to be all alone. When you're growing up, guys, you need your parents, right? For a certain age limit, you need your parents for survival, because without them, you actually feel you're going to die, literally. Okay, so anything
Hmm.
during those ages, like till 7, happens, it becomes a part of your core wound. That's where I was coming to next. And that core wound starts to dictate everything in life. And like you seeing,
Okay.
her relationships are getting affected, her job is getting affected, the way she makes money is getting affected. She's constantly worried about even the partner passing away. So you see how it actually creates your way of thinking, and then it starts to percolate in all areas of your life. So now Yashoda, you need to work on that need of safety and security. That's your, and the bare minimum for it. Like I said, like, how much you want to make in a month and all of that. So you kind of have to, I'm going to share a template
Hmm.
and then work on all of those things. So once that little child is feeling safe, then you can work on your wants and you'll start seeing success in life.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And don't worry, you don't have to do anything to feel that. Maybe, Abhi
Hmm.
talking about it also can start bringing healing. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great. Okay, guys. So now quickly, I want to tell you the how needs and wants actually also affect our body. Okay. Abhi tak to we were thinking needs are fulfilled, then our wants can open up, right? But actually, I don't know if you guys know about the nervous system. Does anybody have any idea about what the nervous system is? I'm gonna just open up, and the brain and everything. No, okay. So we know there's a nervous system. We know that, right? Now, what happens is there is the brain and the body, right? And that's the loop. So whatever is happening, the brain it's going to the brain, and there is this thing, the system in the body. Okay. Now, what happens is our body is made in a way that it always responds to threat or safety. Okay. Now, where is this coming from? This is the primal body function, right? For example, when we like our ancestors, when they were in the jungle, have you seen, actually, if you look at an example of a deer, when a deer is kind of grazing and there is a lion, what happens? At that very moment, the deer just dashes, right? For its life. It just dashes, runs, and then it goes somewhere, it's away from the lion, and you'll see it again starts grazing. Aram se, chill. Have you seen like National Geographic pe? Like something happens and then after a moment it again goes and relaxes. अगर जैसी threat चला गया. Now, that's how our body is also. Okay. So there are two parts to our nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay. You don't have to know anything. I'm just giving you the examples so that you understand better. Now, sympathetic is the trauma response threat part. Okay. Where there is fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. What is fight? Sher aa gaya, so you have to fight, right? Flight is, or you can't fight, you run. That's flight. Or you've seen animals also, when there is a threat, they freeze, isn't it? Like, so that the predator doesn't eat them. And of course, we also freeze. Haven't you seen that something happens, you get a bad news, and you just freeze, and then you can't move? So that's freeze. Okay, your body is trying to save you from more trauma, so it just freezes. And then fawn. Fawn. A lot of people I work with, they've seen how when you're young and you have an abusive mother, abusive father, you've seen how the child starts pleasing the parent. Why? Because they think if they please the parent, maar nahi pitegi, we will not get hit, right? And so you develop a trauma response of fawn, and you carry it forward in life. Now you're 30, now you're 40, you're still fawning, you're still making people happy. You learned this behavior when as a kid, because then you actually you were trying to survive. You could die. In your head you thought that if you don't please your mom, you will die. But now you don't need it as an adult, but you're still doing it. So sympathetic is all of the response. Okay, now in our body, I'm forgetting the exact minute, but the sympathetic should only be active for 8 minutes. So threat aaya, some threat came, you dealt with it, and then you're supposed to go to your parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest. When you sleep, when you relax. So most of the time, you should be in your parasympathetic mode, which means you should be relaxed. The threat should only be when the threat comes, right? When the lion comes. The lion doesn't come every time. But you know what is happening in nowadays? Now we are not in the jungle, but now we are watching the news. Now we are on social media. Now we are constantly stressed. So we are constantly in our sympathetic nervous system. So our body literally has to freeze us during our sleep so that we go into a parasympathetic, because उस time पे भी हम tension ले रहे हैं even while we are sleeping. So have you seen, like, remember, so we go back to how Yash started with, the need is sleep, but a restful sleep is a want, right? Though restful sleep and sleep should be together, because if you don't have a restful sleep, so sleep kya hua, right? But because we are constantly in a sympathetic nervous system, which is our trauma response, हमारा रेस्टफुल स्लीप भी नहीं हो पाता, even though it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be only for 8 minutes, but we are still stuck there. You get it? Now, why am I telling you all this? Because when and only when our need is met, the needs that we're talking about throughout, do we go to a parasympathetic. Because when we feel our need is met, we feel safe. And only when we feel safe can we then open up to receive. This is literally like scientific bodily behavior, I'm telling you. So when our need is met, we feel safe. When we relax and we go into a parasympathetic, we open up, our body opens up to receive. And when I say receive, receive love, receive money, receive relationships, receive all the things. And that's why we are constantly focused on healing, resting, relaxing, because it's literally your body needs that. Otherwise, you're always stressed. And why does it only open during parasympathetic? Because अगर तुम trauma response में हो, sympathetic में, you're fighting, right? And you are focusing on fight flight, then the body closes up because the body is ready to fight. So उस time पे you can't receive money, you can't receive relationships, you can't receive love. You see? So yeah, so I wanted to give you a nervous system perspective also, why it's very important for us to fulfill our needs, right? And because then we open up to wants. Yeah. So yeah, and that's where I end today. Anybody has any questions? I will make a whole template for you to go to the need of your want. And I'll share it with you. Anything else, guys?
Just one small question. Nisha. So, not being good enough for a guy, where does that stem from?
See,
Is it because of the masculine, not embracing the masculine?
by the way, great question, Yash, and great to end it this way. Your needs are going to be very, 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 very hyper specific to you. Okay. So if you
Mhm.
feel like, yeah, that this is coming from there, it could be, but it could be absolutely your thing. For example, किसी को safety चाहिए. Like you just saw it here. Yashoda also wants safety. Yash also wants safety. For Yashoda, probably safety is father's well-being. You see? And for Yash, maybe safety is having more money. So even the same word or the same thing can have different meanings for you. You see?
Right. Understood.
हाँ. तो वो थोड़ा सा you'll have to go into your own story and whatever comes. Even if you're buying other story, it's fine. But does it resonate? If it resonates with you, it's your story.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Just the last part changed. Apart from that, 70% of it resonated.
Yeah.
So that's
And we are all
Oh,
here, we are all talking, so obviously our energies are connected. So you'll also, resonate. But it's true. In our culture, there is so much pressure on being a man, on, and being a woman, whatever it means to you. And obviously, we bought those stories, so it is our own story. And you just need to find your own need there. Once that's done, then you need to be committed to yourself to fulfill that need. But what safety means to you, what love means to you, what security means to you will be your own story. It could be the same, but it might not be. Yeah.
right. Right. Got it. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, all of you. I'm so grateful you came. You came with your questions, you spoke. The next call I want to is going to be Money Loves You. So I want all of you to definitely come and also bring, your friends, family, everyone. And it's going to be super exciting. And so I'm going to share this template and you please do it. Go to your needs and, join the Facebook group as well. The recording will be there. And, share with everyone. And I'm so, so grateful you guys came. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anisha.
Thank you, Anisha.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks.
Mm.
Right.